we will get this party started. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our team call. It is Wednesday. No, it's not April. May 1st. Holy crap, you guys, it's May 1st. I'm so excited. And I wanted to give an opportunity, if it's your very first team call, please drop something in the chat so we can give you some love and say hello. And then I'm going to share my screen real quick. Just make a couple quick announcements. So I can see Melissa, I can see Lo, I can see Britton. Thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I just wanted to give a quick little shout out. As you guys know, it's the first day of the month, so we're not doing Success Club shout outs on the team call, but I wanted to highlight Melissa LeCount, Haley, and Mallory, who all signed up 3 or more coaches last week. Congratulations, ladies, kicking butt. A ton of coaches signed up, two as well, two, whatever. So congratulations to those ladies kicking butt and rocking it. And Melissa Krigbaum, look at her transformation, you guys. Let's give it up for Melissa and give her some love. She's in grad school and she's working full time. Also, she lives in Seattle. So like, if you're looking for more cool friends in Seattle, holler at your girl. Because she is kicking freaking butt. Look at that transformation. And then I wanted to give one book recommendation, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, which I know you guys know I'm obsessed with this book. If you've heard me talk about this before, this is the book that I listened to like on repeat before I left Google. So I highly recommend it. It's on Audible. Amazing book. Talks about limiting beliefs, like kind of pushing yourself to the next level. So I wanted to highlight that book. And then of course, as you guys know, Summit is coming up real freaking quick. We have some announcements that are going to be coming in the team page about our Diamonds party like we did last year. And kind of some of the things that we are coordinating. So be on the lookout for that and all of the deets that are coming. Obviously, check your email like you normally do. Beachbody sends out way more emails than I do. So you'll be kept in the loop. But congratulations to these 3 rock stars. We'll be doing our recap for April Success Club shout-outs on next week's team call. So I don't want to blab too much because we do have a guest speaker on tonight's team call. If you don't know Amy, she's freaking phenomenal. I actually got to know her and her fiance Storm, which they're getting married next month. So exciting. Let's just give her some love because she's getting married next month and she's doing a team call right now. Sina and I got to hang out with her and her fiance Storm, and we love them. We both spoke together at NLC this past January. She's an incredible human being, heart of freaking gold. She's a teacher. A lot of you guys might know her story. She'll give a little bit of background on her story. She was a top 10 coach last year, but honestly, I just really, really like her as a human, which is why I'm so excited for you guys to get to hear from her. She's accomplished a ton in Beachbody, which is amazing and impressive, but more so who she is in the process of doing that is why I love her. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to Amy. Let's do this, girl.
You guys are so sweet. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, team. I am just so excited to speak with you tonight, and I love questions. So if you have any, shoot them on over to the comment section on this chat here. I am an open book usually. So if you need any information or advice, that's what I'm here for. But thank you again. I'm so excited. So a little background about me is I started my coaching journey in 2015, in October of 2015. And at the time, I was a full-time kindergarten teacher. I was finishing up my master's degree. I had a photography business and was wrapping up weddings from the summer, plus doing shoots for Christmas cards. So busy, busy, busy. We had just purchased a newly renovated, a fixer-upper, I should say, that needed renovations and had a brand new puppy. And I also tutored before and after school because if anyone's a teacher, you know that you have to work like 17 jobs to make ends meet. And so that's exactly what I did. And so when coaching kind of fell into my world, I told my coach on Instagram, I actually didn't even know that you could message people on Instagram. Like, that's how newbie I was. And I kind of made fun of people who used hashtags because, like, those were pound signs, right? I had maybe 400 followers at the time, and my coach, Jamie, who lives in Michigan, complete stranger, reached out to me and said, hey, girl, I noticed you love going to the gym. I'd love to hear some of your stories about, your fitness journey. I think you make a great addition to my team. And so she kind of laid it all out on me, and I said, girl, you have no idea how busy I am. cannot add one more thing to my plate. Plus, I had already been a part of other MLMs that have completely fizzled in the past. And I didn't love how pushy they were about selling products. So I didn't want to be wrapped up in that once again. And I just kind of said, no thanks, not the right time for me. She reached out to me a month later, same thing, no thank you. I was just going through like my thesis for grad school, about to graduate, and I just couldn't. And I was actually planning for a wedding as well because I did get married in October of 2015 as well. That's a whole other call, but basically I was like, nope, not a right time. She reached out to me one more time, you guys, so 3 follow-ups. And if I could end the call right now, I would just say there's so much power in follow-ups because I said no to my coach 3 times. But she reached out to me the 3rd time and I said, you know what, I'm super sick right now, which I was. I was in and out of the hospital. I must have taken close to like 17 sick days, which I didn't even have 17 sick days for teaching. So I had to do leave without pay, but I was in and out of the hospital. I was going to all these specialists and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with my gut. I struggle with anxiety and depression, and my doctor was like, well, are you experiencing any stress? And I was like, do you know what teaching does to a human body? Like, yes, of course it's stress. And he's like, well, I would recommend finding a new profession. And I was like, do you not understand the whole, like, going to college, getting a degree? Yeah, that costs a lot of money, and I just can't, like, flick my fingers and switch to a new career. But when she contacted me, I said, let me reach back out to you when I'm ready. And I finally was to that breaking point of being sick of the roller coaster of my health and wellness journey. Waking up and feeling sick every day, like that was not fun. And just having this passion for helping others and kind of feeling really fizzled and burnt out with teaching. So there was just like a bunch of combination of things. And I said, after my wedding, I want to do coaching. And she goes, okay, let's sign you up. So I started with the 21-Day Fix Extreme, signed up basically just as like a discount / hobby because I knew I wanted to help like my mom get healthier and my friends and whatnot, but I had already pushed product on them in the past from my other MLM, so it was just kind of messy. Like I said, I started with 400 followers, had no idea what I was doing on social media, but I used my Instagram account as my accountability partner and basically just posted every single day my sweaty selfie, my meals. Nothing was perfect, nothing was pretty, but it was my way to actually stick to something start to finish, but more importantly, actually continue after my finish to sustain this healthy lifestyle that I was now living. And that was kind of the light bulb moment for me where it was like, this is something that I freaking want to shout from the rooftops because this changes so many lives. And I've only been involved in it for 21 days. So I had all of this like energy and fire and passion. But I had one really big problem, and that was, finding time, having a very unsupportive spouse, having very skeptical coworkers that actually would whisper and talk behind my back with me in the room. So there was just a lot of things that were kind of working against me, but it was this deep desire and passion within me that I knew I needed something more. I knew I was made for more. I knew that waking up at, the butt crack of dawn and doing all the things, going to work, doing all the things, getting home from work, making dinner, getting ready for bed, waking up the next morning, doing all the things, like that was not what I was meant to do until I was 62. And I am not criticizing anyone who loves their 9-to-5 job. That just was not for me. And so when Jamie and Steve kind of noticed that, this was something I could be good at, they took me under their wing and they said, Amy, you need to develop a why. And my beginning why was getting healthy and not waking up feeling sick every single day and actually sticking to something and not going back to my old binge eating ways. But it evolved into something more when Steve told me, hey, do you realize that this could substitute your teaching income? And this could be something that you do full time. And I was like, Steve, let me tell you, buddy, because I went to school for 4 years. Then I got my master's degree. We are $60,000 in debt with student loans for a degree that I worked my butt off to get. I have a great job. Like, I should not be complaining. And I'm like live by the rules. Like, I was little perfect Amy that was top of the class, like always got straight A's, super organized. There was no way that I was going to tell society that I was going to go step aside from what I was meant to do, right? Get a college degree, go to work for the rest of your life, and then retire. There's no way that I was even going to allow myself to dream that way. And so I kind of shut it down a couple times. You know, I'm kind of stubborn. And it just all of a sudden, one day, I think something happened with a parent, something happened with a child. I was cleaning up vomit off my carpet. Like a kid probably sneezed on my hand as I was trying to help them with their letters. You know, it probably was one of those days where I went home and chugged a whole bottle of wine. Like, you know, that I was like, holy cow, I am not okay with this life. And I messaged Steve and I was like, okay, tell me about this why, because I need to figure this out. This is not bringing me joy. And I am such a huge component of life is too short. I know it's cheesy, cliche, whatever. But when you see people who lose their loved ones way too early on and you're like, I'm living a miserable life, that is not what God put me on this earth to do, right? And so my why quickly evolved to not being financially stressed because we were living paycheck to paycheck. And also I've wanted to be a mom since I was probably 2 years old. Like I've always had that burning desire to be a mom, give me all the kids, right? And so I just felt sick to my stomach realizing how expensive childcare really is. And the fact that we only get 4 weeks of maternity leave, you have to actually take 2 weeks of your sick leave bank to have a full 6 weeks of maternity leave. And I didn't have any sick bank left because I was so sick the previous year or whatever. And I was just like, this is not okay with me. So I didn't want to have to drop my child off at daycare and let someone else watch them for 8 hours while I was stressed out at a job that I didn't feel fulfilled in anymore. Instead, I envisioned myself on the carpet playing with my toddler on a Wednesday afternoon. And it was just such like this moment of, why not? Let's do this. Like I gave myself that permission to finally allow me to be me and not let anyone else play an impact or a role or rent space in my brain or heart, because this was my life. And I got shut down by my ex, and no, that's not why we got divorced, you guys. Like Beachbody is not what broke us apart. There was many other things that happened that I respectfully just want to move past. And I'm marrying another man of my dreams. Like he is incredible. But it was really hard when you have all the forces working against you. And I don't know if you can relate to any piece of the story. Like maybe you have a really great husband, or maybe you do have a supportive family, but maybe you can relate to second guessing your dreams. And when Keisha asked me to kind of speak and share my heart on mindset, I was like, girlfriend, you got it. Like, I'm not going to prepare slides. I'm not going to give you 5 steps to build a business. Like, I just want to speak truth into your heart. And while I do this, I want you to listen to a video, and I'm going to explain why I'm showing this, because this is truly what changed everything for me. So I'm going to share my screen, I think, if I can. Thumbs up. Can you see it? Yes. Okay. So watch this.
You are such a failure.
You'll never be good enough. You're not creative enough.
You're just too old.
You say the dumbest things.
You're not working hard
You're
enough.
never going to look like the other girls.
You will never be financially successful.
You're not worthy of your dreams.
Who could love you?
You're not good enough. You are not worthy.
You don't deserve to be loved and to live the life of your dreams. That right there, that's my mean girl. We've all got a mean girl. She's that fear-based voice inside your head telling you that you're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, fast enough. As long as she's running the show, you're always going to feel stuck and trapped, which means all those amazing goals and desires you dream of will stay just that, dreams. Unrealized, unsatisfied, unfulfilled. But you know what? There is another way to live. When you know how to master your mean girl, everything changes. It's the key to living a life that's wildly wealthy, fabulously healthy, and bursting with love. Where you're not just achieving your goals, you're bringing your biggest, brightest, boldest visions to life. It's what makes you feel truly alive. And it all starts with mastering your mean girl. Are you ready to activate your dream life?
Okay, goosebumps, right? I remember watching that video because I became seriously obsessed with her book because it was describing my life to a T. I was so wrapped up in my mean girl. And I challenge you after this call, and maybe share with Keisha or whoever your upline is, what your mean girl is telling you right now. Because it's so powerful to put it all down on paper. You might think about it, but it's so powerful to face it, like looking at it and face it, because that is what's holding you back from excelling in this business. How many of you have stalked another coach? Yeah, so that book is from Melissa Ambrosini. She is, every time a coach asks me what book I recommend, that is the book I always recommend, because it literally, like, you cannot build a business with a mean girl inside of you. You just can't. You're going to fail and you're going to quit. End of story. And so when you can finally recognize and realize your mean girl is the one that's holding you back from success, that's when your business can actually succeed and flourish. So if you haven't read that book yet, please purchase it tonight. So how many of you, show of hands, have stalked a Beachbody coach that's been successful? Or maybe has looked at Keisha and been like, I want that. Yeah? Okay. We have all been there. And some people are like, put your blinders on. Don't focus on them. Focus on you. I say, nope, take those blinders down. If you have a coach that you admire, put them on your vision board, because there is no reason why you can't become what they have achieved, right? There is no reason why you can't become what they have achieved. What is so cool about Beachbody, you guys, is if you think about, a corporate job, and I know Keisha has probably shared this 1,000 times because she would have an amazing corporate job, but the CEO is always going to be the CEO making the most of the company. You might be his hamster and doing all the things and working your butt off to get to the next level, and you might not reach that until 20 years of service into the company or whatever, XYZ. But with Beachbody, what is so cool is, yeah, we have a CEO. Obviously, no one's going to make more money than Carl Deichler because he's like amazing. But Beachbody does not limit the number of coaches who can be successful. They do not put a cap in the $1 million or Millionaire Club and say, oh, we've had enough. No one else can make $1 million this year. They do not put a cap in the elite coaches and say, oh, we only have room for 120 coaches this year, so you better get there first. They do not put a cap on any level of success in this company. What you are doing is you're putting a cap on your goals because of that inner mean girl taking you down one bad thought at a time. And in her book, she discusses how often we second guess ourselves and how often we put ourselves down every single day without even realizing it. And when your inner mean girl speaks these little lies and tells you you're not worthy and you're not good enough and you're not going to achieve that level of success, it's all lies, but you start to believe it because it becomes a habit in your mindset. They did a study, and I think it was a good friend of mine just posted it. I should have copied and pasted the graphic, but it was something along the lines of, when you are kind of being a pessimistic or you're having negative thoughts or you're always putting yourself down, there's actually like signs that things light up in different areas of your brain, and it's like permanent. Like people, somebody who's always negative, right? They just cannot have a good day. They're always complaining. I worked with probably 90% of my teaching staff was that way, and it was just so hard to get out of that and be a positive person because it's just part of them. And that's what happens to us. When we let that inner mean girl talk to us that way, and it's us telling us these lies, we start to believe them, and we start to portray that online. We start to, dull our light that we have to bring people into this opportunity. And so I really want you to write those things down that you might have thought about, you might have felt about this company that were negative, that your inner mean girl is telling you. Because once you can face those and tackle those head on, that's when you can finally allow yourself to dream big, but also take action and pursue that dream without feeling like the outsider. Or like, for me, the first thing my dad told me when I told him I handed in my letter of resignation was, what are you going to do for your health insurance? And I was like, cool, Dad, thanks. My mom, on the other hand, has been a teacher for 30 years, and she goes, oh my gosh, Amy, I am so proud of you for following your dreams. Like, everyone's going to have an opinion. But like I said at the beginning of this call, you have to stop allowing their opinions to rent space in your brain and in your heart. Only you should have control of your brain and your heart. And you know what Beachbody does for a person. You know the hope that you can give to other people by the tools that Beachbody gives to us, right? It's about paying that passion forward. And I hope that you know the potential of what your business can transpire into, because I'm telling you firsthand, I was that girl who would dull my light because I didn't think I could do this. I didn't think, what would people say? What would people think? What would my children, my students' parents say when I all of a sudden was not teaching anymore? Did I not care about their kids? There's just so much crap that I told myself, and I literally had to go through intense personal development and podcasts and just therapy even to allow myself to live the life I wanted to live. Isn't that sad? Like, we have all of these thoughts, and society plays such a role on our shoulders that we aren't allowing ourselves to take this big leap. Now, I'm not saying to go quit your job tomorrow. That is not what I'm saying. You have to be smart. You have to have things in place, but you should allow yourself to put whatever you want to put on that dang vision board without feeling silly or scared or afraid. Like, that is your vision board. That is your heart. And you don't have to listen to anybody else's opinion about it. So I don't know. I feel like I could just keep talking and keep pouring my heart into you, but I can kind of talk about the transition. So if you have not gotten to NLC yet, which is New Leadership Conference, and you get to go once you're 1 star, that should be on your vision board for sure, because that is what changed my entire business. Bonnie Engel and Melanie Mitra were 2 coaches that I had admired from day one of coaching. I just thought like they were these beautifully, they're these beautifully put together, perfect social media, has such an amazing like home and life and family. And it was just like, that is goals to me. Because here I am living paycheck to paycheck, fighting about bills, feeling guilty for buying candles from Bath & Body Works because it wasn't part of the budget, like feeling stressful at my job. There was just a lot of things. And when I heard them, speak on stage, and they shared a little bit about how they got started, and it wasn't glamorous. They didn't have any following. They, Melanie didn't have the support of her husband either. And I was like, oh my gosh, if they could do this, like, why the heck can't I? I know I'm just little old me, Amy Rada, but I could totally do this. If Melanie could do this, I could do this. If Bonnie could do this, I could do this. Any coach that you look up to and admire, you can do it. Beachbody allows everyone to be successful. You are the only person getting in your way. And so what I have to preach to you today is turn that mindset into you can accomplish this too. And the only reason why you're not seeing success is you're not working hard enough for it. Or you're letting your inner mean girl get in the way, and that's, not allowing you to reach and get across those self-doubts. And so as soon as I went home from New Leadership Conference and I went live on my team page and I popped a bottle of champagne because, always drinking. And I told my girls, I said, hey, I want to be a superstar diamond team. I feel like we deserve to be recognized as a superstar diamond team. And all I need to know is who is passionate about building this business with me. And I had 28 girls comment on that post, and I had this push group together with them. No, not all of them reached diamond. Some of them actually quit, but we did it. And that was the most powerful story to tell to the entire company of Beachbody. I will always talk about that story because it literally was a light switch moment. Here I was just kind of like, ooh, I hope we hit elite. And then it was like, heck no. If Bonnie Engel and Melanie Mitchell could do this, why can't we be a superstar diamond team? Every single one of you on this call right now can be a superstar diamond team by the end of the year. No doubt. And so just to give you a little perspective on my timeline, I ended 2017 as a 5-star team. So we literally hit it with 2 minutes left for the qualification. Not kidding. I was sobbing on the phone with coach relations, making sure that coach order went through, but we did it. And then I woke up in January and we were 7-star qual. So that just goes to show that we were pushing so much and our momentum as a team moving forward that people started to believe in themselves because I was believing in them too, type of thing. And then we went from January to July with absolutely nothing happening. And I went through a lot of lows during that period of time. I had a miscarriage, got divorced, fell down the stairs, couldn't work out. There's just so much crap that happened in my life that really could have allowed me to crawl inside of a hole, because let's be honest, I wanted to do that pretty much every single day. But it was my team that got me through all of that crap. And I talked about that. I talked about the inner demons. I talked about how uplifting this community and support system can be, and how these girls were like my family. And I couldn't imagine my life without them. And we just kept hustling. We kept leaning into each other. We kept hustling, kept pushing forward together. And by July, we finally hit 8-star. Then we went to 9-star in September. And then we hit 12-star in November. And we were 14-star with 1 week left to hit 15-star quals. And I had one girl reach out to me. She said, Amy, what do you need? And she's like, where am I placed? I said, you're in my first business center. She's like, what do you need? She had 2 coaches at the time. And I said, girl, I need you to get to diamond and you would be our 15th star, but we have 4 days to do it. Guess what? On that Thursday, she woke up as a diamond coach. And that story just goes to show that if you put your mind to it and you truly make it happen, it will happen. This business is not easy, but it's very simple, right? It's not easy, but it's very simple. And I'm sure you've heard that a ton of times again. I mean, Keisha's like the queen of podcasts. So obviously she's like the preacher of all things. But just let that sink in. Like if my girl Kaylee could hit it in 4 days, there's no reason why you can't hit it by May 22nd or before Summit. It's just a matter of choice. Because you guys, last week on the National Wake Up Call, there were 75 diamonds that popped in 1 week? 75 diamonds in 1 week. That's not by chance. That's because they worked their butt off to get to that point. And they made a goal. They set it. Okay, you want to say hi to all the babes? Okay. Yes, is your dad home? Okay, go get your dad. Hold on, I'm going to close the door. Sorry, guys. Go. Okie dokie. I don't know where it was, but I'm sweating, and I feel like now would be a really great time to open it up for questions.
I love you.
Woo!
Oh, everyone, go get that book. Okay, so Amy, a couple questions for you. Actually, a few that I collected. So one is, how do you, I'm actually really interested to hear your take, knowing a little bit more, but how did you overcome the fact that some of like your coworkers were saying negative things about it, especially as a teacher? How did you, and then this follow up to that is kind of like, how did you share about what you were doing when you were in a job where you were nervous to share about it while you were working?
Absolutely. Well, disclaimer, I was called into the principal's office 3 times by my principal because parents were complaining that I was, posting. And so basically I had to separate my kids from coaching, but I could still incorporate teaching with coaching. And so what I did is I created like a fit camp with teachers after school. And we would just play a program on the smart board, and they would keep their weights in my closet, and it was really fun. And so the teachers started to kind of come around to the fact that like, I just want to help people. And so, but you know what? It's the same thing with like haters on Instagram. Like it really does affect your heart, especially if you're super sensitive like I am. Like I take people's body language as like my fault, And so if something is said or done, or I could tell that they were just talking about me as I walked into the lounge, it does hurt. And I had to accept the fact that they just don't understand what I do changes lives. They don't understand that what I do gets me out of bed every morning and makes me feel alive. They don't understand that my girl Carla, who I've been working with for 5 months, just got off her high cholesterol medication and was no longer classified as morbidly obese with her doctor. Like they don't get that because they're just not a part of my world, and that's okay. And so when I felt like I was being kind of attacked from the outside world, I would lean into my Beachbody world. And that's where the friendships are just so life-changing. Like 5 out of my 7 bridesmaids are Beachbody coaches. Like, people who just came into my life 3 years ago are now my closest family than friends I've had since high school. You know, it's just like, it's one of those things where you just really need to lean in. You really need to capitalize on the people who understand what you're doing. And, you know, you guys, I get haters every day, and it takes a toll. But I finally had to say enough is enough, Amy. You know, pray for them. They don't understand it. That's okay. Focus in on the people who love, appreciate, and are telling you that you're inspiring them every single day. Like, that's just, it's a mindset. Everything's a mindset. And so I had to kind of, you know, I'm not going to say like it doesn't hurt anymore, because it still twings. I still think about it. But at the same time, this is my life. This is my happiness. I'm in control of what I get to do. They're in control of what they do. And even though it's hurtful, in some way that makes them feel better. So all I can do is just, you know, bless and release.
Yes. Such a good, like, I think it always makes me feel like a little frustrated when people say like, screw them. Like, who cares what they think? Because it's like, I totally connect with you on this. Like, you're even more like sensitive than me, that I love. I just want to like speak to you because of that. But I think it's like, just caring what you think most. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever, they can think whatever they want. I love that. So, okay. Another question. Obviously people want to know, how are you training coaches how to build Instagram, or how to like network on Instagram?
Yeah. So that's a really great question. And I don't want to just like tell you, this is how you do it, because obviously there's like, you know, there's not one way to build this. There's not one way to do this. And obviously with the algorithms changing, like everyone's trying to figure out, okay, what should I be doing? How many times should I be posting? But what I tell my girls is, you need to just get started. And so before even worrying about Instagram, we need to get them plugged into the challenge group. We need to have them feeling confident about themselves. We need to help them fall in love with Shakeology, make sure that their recipe is on point so that they crave it every day. Because the worst thing is like a new coach who's excited about it hating Shakeology because they're only mixing it with like water and ice. So get that frozen banana in there, girl. You got this. And honestly, from there, like after they start from day 1 to day 7, they should start to feel something, whether it's within their gut. You know, I call Shakeology like my liquid Drano, because it literally helps me poop every day. And so like either it's within their gut, or maybe they're seeing a difference in their clothes or their energy level, or maybe they just really love the community. And then I have them come out and say, for the past week, I have been doing this amazing boot camp with my coach, and I want to finally announce that I have taken the leap of faith to do this as well, because I am passionate about helping others. And then I tell them, for me, what helps me feel like I'm making a difference is posting all of me. And so I don't care about the number of posts that you're supposed to do. In my mind, it's the more people see Happy, Healthy, Humble pop up on their feed, the more they're going to fall in love, the more they're going to remember my face, the more they're going to recognize Moose when they're scrolling. Because the average person, when they're scrolling through Instagram, sees your post for like 0.2 seconds. So if they see my face and be like, there's Amy, that's what I want. Like, I want them to feel like I can bring them that joy or that inspiration. There's some coaches who say 1 post a day, you need to stick to your brand, and that could work too. But this is just, I love being colorful. I love being colorful. So we talk about the color wheel. What can you put on that wheel that represents your brands? And then basically the following does not come from posting. It plays a role, but the following comes from you reaching out and inviting. Because when I did the 5-3-1 method, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, I learned about it from Shalane Johnson. But basically you go find someone through a hashtag or a location, and you scroll through their profile, make sure they're not already a coach or a challenger, and you like 5 of their photos, you comment genuine comments on 3 of them, and you follow them. And what I would do is I would keep a notebook and I would track that Instagram handle, and the next day I would reach out to them, because basically what that's given them is 24 hours to get 9 notifications from Happy, Healthy, Humble. And I hope that they would come and take a peek at my profile and see what I was all about and fall in love. And then I would reach out the next day and say, you know, Jessica, I truly just fell in love with your Instagram. Your smile just literally lights up the page. I don't know if you had a chance to check out my profile as well, but I would love to invite you to blank. You know, like I just kind of got right to the point, because sometimes I feel like when you sugarcoat what you're trying to tell them, they know what you're doing. Like when you start asking questions about their dog, or, you know, the sweatshirt they wore on Tuesday, like, they're like, okay, what, you know, they obviously went to your profile. They obviously see you're a coach. So they're going to put two and two together. So anyway, it was just more of like a, and if they've ghosted me or said, no, not right now, I always followed up with, you know, I understand because I said no 3 times as well. Would you like me to follow up with you next month, or do you want me to take you off my list? Because I truly just feel like you would make a great addition to our team. So just like building them up. I was once a tone it up girl. And I love their programs. I love Katrina and Karina, like totally babes. But there was no accountability. There was no one. Katrina and Karina weren't checking in on me to make sure I did my booty blast or whatever. So I really just talked about those buzzwords like accountability, support, community, boot camps, tracker, you know, just cheering each other on. Like, I have the best job in the world. I get to help influence people and bring joy to their lives and help them, you know, live a happy, healthy lifestyle. And that's the coolest thing. So yeah, that's kind of, I forgot what the question was, but
perfect answer. And I think you make it so simple of just like your Instagram's your accountability, right? Do what works for you. And I love that you preach that too, Amy, of like, just find what works for you and stick with it, because you have to have fun doing this too, or you're not going to want to do it. Okay. Can you talk to the girl who has big dreams, but her efforts not matching her goals?
That's on you, boo. It's time to level up, and the best book to read for that, I'm a PD junkie, so I buy every single book.
As am I, girl, as am I.
This changed my business, and if you haven't read it front cover to back, it's time. The last thing that any mentor wants to hear is, I want this so badly, tell me all the things, and you mentor them, and then you check in and they haven't done a single reach out. They haven't posted in 3 days. Literally, you guys know exactly what it takes to build this business. There are so many trainings, National Wake Up Call, Beachbody Champions page, all of your team calls, all the people who maybe have been successful before you have given you everything. And it's always the 4 vital behaviors, right? And so if you're not leveling up and you're giving excuse after excuse after excuse, that's on you. So your why is definitely not aligned with your goals. You don't have that passion and that desire to truly live out your best life. And if you're not doing it, the girl sitting on the left side of you on the screen is going to do it. It's like we had this call on Monday about hitting Success Club. And it's like, if you're complaining that you can't find Success Club, but yet somebody's on the board that has 24 Success Club points, I call bull, because they're just outworking you. There's people out there that need your help. There's a reason why obesity rates are so high. People need our help. Like, we haven't even tapped in to the UK yet. Like, there are so many possibilities. Plus, I challenge you to go back to your warm market and really utilize those people that you maybe have known in the past. It's basically a decision. It's a decision to do all the things that you know you need to do, or make excuses and not go anywhere in your business. I'm not good at tough love, but that was really tough lovey.
That I was like, I wonder how sassy she's gonna come in. Are you gonna come
I'm
in?
so not a sassy person either.
What's up, girl? I love it. Cool. It's probably the bun on your head. Okay. The last thing that I want to ask, unless anyone else has like, if you have a burning question, drop it below. But the last question is, when you miss a goal, how are you like, for people that had a goal of May 2nd and they've like they're going to miss that goal, right? Obviously they can hustle till 9 p.m. Pacific, but they're going to miss that goal. What do you tell yourself, or what would you tell one of your coaches, like, who wakes up on Thursday and is like, and then they want to like let their mean girl spiral them? I just want to hear what you say on that.
I think it's okay to give yourself a little pity party tomorrow for like 5 minutes. And then I want you to blast Taylor Swift knee and dance and then get back to work. Because I just had a call with 3 of my leaders who all goals, up and rising leaders, all of their goals was to hit diamond by tomorrow. And they are so stinking close, you guys. And one was just getting all discouraged on herself. And I said, Sarah, stop. Like, I'm not going to listen to that, because look at where your business came from when you started pushing for May 2nd to now, that momentum that you've built over this past push period is exactly what your business needs to get to that goal in this next push period. And so we realigned exactly what they need to do. We set up their calendar. When's your next coaching sneak peek? How many times are you breadcrumbing coaching opportunities? Like, you guys, just because you didn't reach that goal on that date does not mean you are a failure. You are succeeding way more than any other person who is just sitting at where they're sitting and not actually trying to achieve a big goal by a big date. You know, I pushed for 15 star with my team from February on. No, when was new leadership? Yeah, from February on. And I kept telling my girls, I said, even if we land at 7 star or 10 star or 13 star or 14 star, yeah, it would be kind of a bummer because we had a big goal for ourselves, but we are not failing because we are still building forward. So use that momentum to even push harder and get that next goal and realign your dates and just keep going because you will reach it. The moment you let off that gas pedal, that's when you failed, right? When you give up and you go away from social media for a day or a week, that to me is failure. But if you even do that, learn from your failures. We have to all fail in order to succeed. We have to all fail to learn and grow as leaders. And from our failures, we then can help our coaches go through their highs and lows because we know what it feels like. We know what it's like to miss a deadline or whatever. But don't take your foot off the gas pedal, I guess, is the moral of my story, because that momentum is going to freeze the minute you do, and it's going to be 10 times harder to gain that momentum going back up again. It's totally possible, but you have to be consistent in this business.
Yes. Okay. I love you. Thank you so much. I just want to leave I want to just end it on that because that's let's go. Woo-woo! Amy, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Pull up the chat and tell her how freaking awesome she is. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I will get this recording posted in the team page. Amy, you're incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. And you ladies, I truly, truly challenge you to go write out your mean girl tonight. Share it with Keisha, your upline, and also just realize how amazing Keisha is because you guys have one of the best leaders ever. So share some love for her as well. And go do the dang thing, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
On that stage next year at Summit.
Love it. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, Amy. Bye, girl.